Welcome today, everyone on my panel. I'm so thrilled that everyone had the time and space and just more to share with everyone out there in the world who's watching us live and who will be watching us later. So I'm going to kick today's panel off with Lisa Kostova, and we're gonna chat with everyone on this panel. And I'm going to kick it off with Lisa because, you know, those of you who watched the interview with Lisa, I was just so inspired and so I thought I was activating into my power, and then I heard Lisa's story and I'm like, oh, okay. So Lisa, let everyone know who you are and who you be, and just give them kind of like the cliff notes of where you were when this pandemic kicked off.
Sure. Hi, everyone. And thanks for having us here, Tiffany. I am a market positioning coach. I'm also a tech entrepreneur and I'm a podcaster. I have my own podcast, The Star Guided Entrepreneur. So when the pandemic hit, I was actually off the grid for about 8 days with my partner on a hike through some mountain passes. And on the day the pandemic was announced was the day we were going over the second mountain pass, where we had a tiny bit of reception. There was another person on the pass, and he said, we thought he was joking with us. He said, the market's crashed, a pandemic's being announced, the world's coming to an end, check your phones. So we did, and we had to quickly turn them off because we had a really difficult descent down that required us to be super focused and present. And for the next couple of days, we did not see anybody at all, no human beings. We were completely off the grid in nature, immersed with our own thoughts and ideas. And both I and my partner have experience with technology products. We were building tech products for a lot of consumer companies like Netflix and Facebook and a bunch of startups. And games for me, gaming companies. So the question was really, okay, the world's going to change. The world is changing. Can we use the silence and the moment that we have now to understand how to come up with some ideas about what we think is going to happen and how can we launch something to support the changes that people are going to go through, and also to take advantage of a huge disruption. I gave myself a promise about, when was it, 10, 12 years ago, when I went through the 2008 crash. I was in business school at the time. And I remember sitting next to some of my classmates as they were having similar conversations and ideas. And lo and behold, because they didn't have jobs and they really went into their ideas, some of them ended up having extremely successful companies. Rent the Runway was one of them. Two of my classmates, I was there for their initial ideation and conversation, just took their company public last year at several billions of dollars evaluation. That's Cloudflare. So I made myself a promise that next time there was a disruption, I would not go into the fear and I would just look at the opportunity. And that's what we're doing now. We're launching an app called Cafe Social. It is in development currently with an engineering partner that I have. And we have a closed beta. And if you guys are interested, just drop a comment in the live on Facebook and I'll follow up with you and I'll send you the form to sign up for the beta. The idea is very simple. The hypothesis is that at this time, we believe that people are going to lack not just any communication, but also the types of communication we used to take for granted. Like when you meet somebody in a social place, like a gym or a cafe or any, like on the street, and you have an unscheduled, low cost, low commitment interaction with somebody, that you feel connected and you feel like, it brighten your day. You feel like you're part of the human fabric. You didn't have to schedule it. You didn't have to think about like how long it's going to take and like where are we going to meet and how long we're going to meet for. So it has the component of that kind of like super light touch interaction, speed dating, if you want to call it, although it's not dating specific at all. And you get matched to other strangers possibly who are right now under lockdown, and you can go into the cafe and chat and feel connected. The mission is to drive smiles. We have a goal of driving 1 million smiles, and we're putting things in the app to actually generate that interaction. We're gamifying it, and our hypothesis is that this type of connection will be missed, that there is a need for this type of connection during the lockdown.
Absolutely. And Lisa, I just want to acknowledge you for, making a promise to yourself 10, 12 years ago, that because we know, Thomas and I have had discussions about this, like, it's like every 10 years, something, and sometimes every 4 years, something like this, not as big as this, but like this seems to happen. And I love that you made a promise to yourself. And I love how you just described Cafe Social, because we don't really have that right now. The low touch, low cost. What was the other? Low commitment?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's low commitment, and I'm very fortunate that my engineering partner is actually in the dating world right now, and so he's using all the apps. And one of the things that he's told me, and I've heard this from other singles as well, and again, we're just testing things to see what works and what
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. For the singles, it is a big commitment, and it is a big perceived risk to go on a Zoom date with somebody, because
Mm,
there's a big sense of risk of rejection. So we want to
mm,
remove that. We want to remove the context of, I'm going to go on the interview, or I'm going to be, in this place where I'm going to, have to show up and perform,
yeah.
which happens a lot when deal with pre-recorded, pre-scheduled
Yeah.
things, whether they're dates or interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And the feedback that we've been getting, some of the dating apps have questions that feel really, really heavy. They're like, okay, now you guys talk about your favorite time of, whatever, the common thread is. And they feel like, okay, I have to make up an interesting story. I have to be entertaining.
Mm,
I have to perform.
yeah.
And the feedback we're seeing, hearing is just let us shoot the shit. you know,
Yeah. And
I don't want
that's
to have any agenda whatsoever. Just connect me with somebody and shoot the shit. And I don't care. Maybe I'll see this person again, maybe not. And we make it available to connect with the person if you want to keep in
Yeah.
touch
And
again.
I love that, because we don't have that right now. And connection, even though we are keeping in contact with everyone we know and love, I love that you acknowledge that we're missing that casual connection when we're standing in line, when we're, just walking down the street, waiting at the stoplight or waiting for the subway to come, that we miss that, like, that glance, or that, like, oh, I like your, I'm a total complimenter. I'm like, I like your dress, or wow, where did you get that? Like, we're not doing that right now. So I
I like your
love,
Zoom background.
yeah. I like your Zoom. That's so funny. So I love that. And that reminds me of the conversation that Journey Jill and I had about connection, and really, the conversation that was going on towards the beginning of the quarantine, where we thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to be all by myself. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to miss out on connection. And what we're learning is some of us feel more connected. And Journey Jill, tell everyone who you be and who you are, and what you're seeing and feeling into around connection.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tiffany. And I love that, Lisa. It reminds me so much of the initiative that I've been working on with the Connection Lounge. But I love that you're bringing in this, like, interacting with, just casually and letting it be shooting of the shit. I think that you're totally onto something there. And I acknowledge you for igniting that. One piece that you missed from your story was that you were in New Zealand when it all happened. I love that element of it. So as far as connection goes, I'm here at the Black Swan Temple in Maui. I'm living at a retreat center. And when I sourced this experience and this opportunity, little did I know that I was going to be having this whole retreat center to myself. So connection to me has actually taken a whole other dimension that I hadn't been focused on previously. And that's like connecting with nature and really doing that deep inner work and getting connected with yourself, which I think is so important as we're talking about connecting with others, making sure that you're connecting to, the divine source, God, universe, whatever that might be for you, and really allowing yourself to, like, have a full cup as you are beginning to ignite conversations with other people.
I love that. And, I know this has been, like, something that you've really been leaning into is connection. And knowing that, it's going to be a different space once we do come out of the quarantine and we move into social distancing, what are you kind of seeing as the opportunity for all of us with connection physically?
I think that, coming back into it and allowing yourself to be getting out of your own head and just to really be intentional about the interaction, even if it is, something where it's just to shoot the shit, like really being 100% present for that interaction and not allowing for other things to be distracting you. I think it's going to be so powerful for us as we're stepping back out and we are connecting with others to like really show up 100% and to be focused on the individual that's in front of us, and just being generous with how we can serve and how we can show up for that person so that they feel whole and complete and enough in your presence.
Wow. I just got goosebumps, Journey Dill. Because that is a piece that, and we all have experienced that, right? While we're at a restaurant or, waiting in line somewhere, we see everyone on the phone. And even when they're with people, it's like phones are on the table, phones are out, or it's like, let's take a picture. And I love that piece, the opportunity of just being fully present with each other. That, these are going to be such treasured moments now when we are physically with each other, that we get to really be present and as you said, allowing each person to feel complete and whole in the moment. So that's so beautiful. I mean, my hair just stood up. That was really beautiful. Thank you, Journey Jill. And Miles, that just made me think about, those of us, you and I included, that are living by ourselves right now and, quarantining alone. And really, leading into, we definitely, that casual connection that Lisa spoke about was like our jam. That was like our jam. And the beautiful connection piece that Journey Jill just wove in, that we get to honor the time we are physically with other people. So how does that kind of play into those of us who are living by ourselves right now?
Yeah, for sure. I love what Jill just said about that, to piggyback off of that. I'm a very social person. I work in community-driven businesses. I worked with Tiffany at SoulCycle for over 8 years doing culture and community development, focusing on diversity and inclusion. I left there last summer and then found myself as a general manager still in the wellness space for a smaller boutique fitness business that is now struggling, and I'm furloughed. So one of my biggest concerns about this pandemic was the fact that like I live by myself in New York City, and like, what am I gonna do? I have a little brother who's like one of my best friends who lives in Washington, DC, and he's married and has a house. So my initial reaction from my like past way of living is like, I have to go be with somebody. I have to go do this. And I tried 4 times to get out of New York City, but the universe kept being like, nope, blocking it. So I couldn't get out of the city. And there was like a part of me that literally was deep down inside that was like, you need to use this time for yourself. So I honor the fact that so many people are suffering right now, and there is so much not good stuff going on right now, but in like terms of like cognitive reframing that a lot of therapists use, I'm trying to take this time, and I learned that I need this time for me. I have the privilege of being furloughed so that I can get unemployment money so that I don't have to worry about funds right now. And I have the privilege of being safe and healthy in my own space. So I have taken this time to really journey inward and strengthen my spiritual knowledge and my spiritual practice with like constant sound bath meditations and books about like how to deepen your spiritual practice. And this has actually been a very healing time for me personally, which is kind of, I talk about it with my friends every day, because obviously I need to connect in order to feel fulfilled. So I connect with my people, but I spend a lot of time by myself, and honoring the emotion of sometimes it's not time to be with other people, and sometimes it's time to be by yourself. And I just turned 40. So like, it's like this whole window open to me of just like, this is a time for you to take time for you. And I think that this is a very special time, whether it's a negatively special time where you can learn something. There's a lot of learning going on right now. And I get the privilege of a positive learning experience. And it blows me away every day that I'm not lonely. It's been 6 weeks, and I have seen 2 human beings in that 6 weeks where that I actually know and care about deeply, like from a distance. We had like social distancing dates, but I typically tend to get lonely quickly. And this experience has really caused me to look at that different. So it's,
Wow.
and I say that's a privilege because it is, because I'm safe and I'm healthy.
Yeah. And it's your choice,
Yeah.
right? You know, some of the work that a few of us on this call have done is the work to explore, you know, our power. And a lot of our power is choosing in the moment, choosing that loneliness is a choice because we deep down we know we're never alone. We're
Yeah.
all connected in one way, shape, or form. And to be lonely is to decide to either be disconnected or to be in a state of I have no one, I have nothing.
And that digs
And
into the, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
It
Yeah.
digs into the whole idea of power and possibility and purpose, because it's like with this cognitive reframing, it's like I can think I'm stuck in my house, or I can think I'm safe in my house.
Yes.
And I wake up every day and I'm choosing to be like, I have food, I have money, I have a home. And it's funny because I don't really like New York City. I moved back here for work a couple years ago, almost 4 years ago. And I loved DC, and I was like not trying to come back to New York. And I never really loved my space, but I'm realizing that subconsciously and consciously, I've created this amazing nest. Like I used to be a performer, a Broadway performer. And like I bought a piano like a couple months ago that I never really played. I was like, I feel this intuition to buy a piano. So I bought one. So now I have a piano, and like I have art supplies. So now I'm like drawing things, and I used to be a singer. So now I'm recording things. And it's like my creative spirit is like now being like, and I believe in God. So it's like, God is like, this is your time to get your life together, strengthen and get your power back, so that when this is over, you can emerge the leader that you've been like preparing to be.
Beautiful. And you guys get to check out some of Miles's music videos. He's
Oh, they're pretty. I'm making ridiculous ones right now.
But they're so good, and I love them. They are hitting my sweet spot of like soul and like just sheer fun and laughter.
Well,
so thank you.
Well, that's the thing too. During this time, it's like I don't have to work right now. So like, what can I do with my time? And so I'm like, even the days that I don't feel like my emotions are like, you don't have a lot for everybody, I make it a goal. If I can make one person smile or laugh or do something or more. And like, we always have this thing sometimes where we're like, what we have to say is not valid. Like, who wants to hear us? And I'm like, if my intuition is saying, say something on Insta story, it doesn't matter if 200 people listen or if one person listens. I'll record it, and I'll have so many people reach out to just be like, you made me smile today and you made me laugh. And I'm like, that's my job goal right now. While I don't have a job, is did I make you laugh? Did I make you smile? Let's be ridiculous, because
do you know, I just want to give you the title Chief Joy Officer. That is
I will accept that
right now. Chief Joy Officer.
Whoever wants to hire a Chief Joy Officer, I am not employed right now, and I'm ready.
And that just reminds me, Thomas, like Thomas and I, like we've been having such great, we just had a conversation 2 days ago, and I just found out Thomas has a beautiful garden, as you can sort of see where he is. And Thomas, you know, even though Thomas lives with his husband, Miles, he's been experiencing some of that, like, well, I'm by myself, and like, you know, and what gets to happen each day. So Thomas, tell everyone who you are and who you be, and kind of like piggyback on like where Miles, the space that he's in as well.
Yeah, if you haven't met me, I'm Thomas Mangum, and I, for probably up until last November, I was pretty much traveling each week and working with Fortune 100 companies with their senior leadership and just facilitating team building and leadership development and that sort of thing. And I started evolving, kind of went on a journey of really taking care of my health and things like that. And then the pandemic happened, and you know, I'd already been off the road for a while. So when all of this shelter in place happened, I'd had a couple months practice, if that makes sense. You know, I'd already gone through my panic of like, holy crap, what am I going to do at home? Oh my God, I'm going to just stab myself. This is ridiculous. And the really crazy thing, I'd already started adjusting to that life. And something that came up with you, Miles, was I went through the period of time of really going crazy and depression, and there's lots of emotions until I realized it's sort of like going on a vision quest. It was sort of like this native, you're by yourself, what comes up with yourself. And what Tiffany was referring to, I had just shared with her because my husband's been gone for 8 days. Now he's a fire captain, so he goes to firehouse. He's a healthcare worker, paramedic, and all of that. And so it's weird. I'm experiencing some of what it's probably like for people that are home alone, but then not, because then he will eventually come home. And so it really caused me to appreciate maybe what you've been through, Tiffany and Miles, and others that are home alone, is there's all of the phases. And I think it's completely normal. I want to just put that out there to anyone else listening as well, is that I had my moments of crying. I had my moments of a down period. I had my moments of, am I on drugs right now? What day is it? What time is it? Is the sun down or is it coming up? I've had those moments. No lie. I mean, I really have. And I swear it wasn't because it was 420. I wasn't high. And it was just the weirdest thing. And it reminded me of the natives' vision quests and things. When I've been alone, this processing happens. And then there's finally a surrender, and there is a gratitude. See, you're shaking your head. There is a surrender and gratitude of like, wow, this is so cool.
It's like a surrender to what is. It's like, this is what it is.
It is, Miles. And I became connected. And I all of a sudden felt, it even makes me vibrate, and I'm getting those little bumps. What do you guys call them? Goosebumps? Something?
Goosebumps.
You'd think I don't speak English.
Yeah.
But it was like those, the duck flesh or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I started vibrating of going like, wow, I can feel everything. I'm connected. I'm not lonely. And it's trippy because I have the same voice in my mind of like, what the hell are you talking about, Thomas? What are you talking about? What is that? What are you talking about? It's like, no, I'm here alone. And I feel so incredibly connected. And it's that whole journey. So what's the takeaway? The only takeaway I came up with is part of it's a choice. What am I trying to make happen? Like when I look in the mirror, dude, what are you trying to make happen? Are you trying to be connected? Or maybe you're making this really difficult and complex. How about taking a deep breath, dude? It's totally cool. You're crying at watching that YouTube video and you don't know why. Well, maybe it's perfect, dude. It's all cool.
Yeah, I
maybe
love
you
that.
just surrender and keep it really easy. And I know, maybe you've heard me say this, Tiffany, is that I think some people get really, I think I've had a friend of like, she thinks like, are you okay? Because I don't recognize you. And I said, I'm living my best life. It's weird in some weird twisted way, is that I'm not looking for the old life to come back, nor do I think that's kind of bullshit. Is like the old world is not coming back. It's a new world. It's here and now. What can I do with it? What will I do with it? What's that new path going forward? And that's what I'm passing on to business owners right now. Guys, I mean, I'm certainly not training a lot of corporate groups right now. I'm just contributing my time to people that are entrepreneurs and helping them reinvent truly what's possible. Whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're unemployed. Who else mentioned? Was it you, Lisa? I think you mentioned is like, we've been around for a little bit in business. We've been through a recession or two. And one thing I learned from that I'm using right now is that if you, and as an individual, feel that you are lost, overwhelmed, out of control, then get on the phone with me or Lisa, because we got you, or whoever else, is because you absolutely, there's 100% things that you can do right now. And I'm most motivated from the place of business and entrepreneurship. There's so many things that you can do to make good use of this depression. And I don't mean to be disrespectful for those that are, that are really hurting. I mean, I'm happy to be a contribution with that. It just fires me up.
I love that. That's your activation. You're activating as well.
It's like superpowers activate. Depressions, recessions, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's reinvent. I know how to reinvent.
Yeah, and I remember that piece. That was like one of my favorite pieces of our conversation, Thomas, was reinvention. And thank you for bringing that forward again. That, you know, a lot of people have been saying, I can't wait for things to get back to normal again. And, you know, I think all of us on this panel know that we're not going back. Like, we broke that paradigm and now we're in a new paradigm right now.
And that's not a bad thing, because
No.
it was very broken. And
Mhm.
going along with what Lisa said and what Thomas said about, like, we are allowed to now draw from our past experiences. Like, it's funny that you said that about, like, the past, because I was my job was restructured last summer, so I've already been through 3 months of being by myself, like when the world was going. So I felt prepared as well to be like, okay, you learned the lesson, now let's put the lesson into practice. And so I'm wondering if anybody else has had that same experience, all these like past experiences that are leading you to work through this experience.
Yes, Miles. I mean, think about it. This is the only moment we have. And I'm not just being all philosophical. I know everyone, all the panel is like, yes, you know, preach. I'm talking about anyone else that's eavesdropping and might be joining us right now, is that it is a waste. You want more energy, emotional, financial energy, physical energy, and mental energy, is like, be here now. Be here now. I know you guys know this. That's
Yeah.
the only way we can. This is it. In this moment, there is no fear. Isn't that crazy? I mean, let it really resonate for a moment. It's like a waterfall. It's like a. I feel the cascade of waterfall or energy or something
Mm.
coming across. Is that if I breathe, and I'm here right now, there is no comparison from the past. There's no bringing of all of that energy. It's almost drag. And then there's not the, oh my gosh, what am I going to do tomorrow in the future? Here
Yeah.
now is free, baby. It is liberating. I get to be me. And I
Yeah.
can't
And
imagine that anything is, there's no way to be even more connected than that.
I love that, Thomas. And what
You are
I'm hearing you
preaching to the
say,
choir.
yeah.
That is, you know, I was channeling you, girl. You know, I
Journey
was channeling
Jill,
you.
Journey Jill
I'm
manifested and sourced her pandemic situation as well.
Well, but I want to just say, Thomas, that I have been reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and that's exactly the message. And so I'm like, yes, like there is no fear, there is no loneliness, there is no anything outside of you when you bring it back to this moment and you're just focused on 100% present and in the now. So I love that. Thank you for bringing that forward today.
I don't know about all you guys, but I know that we all in our communities all live by that practice. But this is truly the first time in my life that I actually feel like I am living day by day, because we literally don't know what's happening tomorrow. So like, I keep pointing that out to myself and to my friends. I always preach, like, my tagline for my bracelet company that I have is like, live where you live. But it's like, do we actually do that? We say it, but this is the first time in my life where I actually feel like I'm happy, because I literally don't know what is tomorrow.
I love that. And, you know, Journey Jill, you brought up a book that Jennifer and I just talked about yesterday or 2 days ago, the Eckhart Tolle book. And Jennifer, you know, you've been sharing just about like the flexibility and some of like the pieces you're bringing forward from that book as well. So Jennifer, tell everyone who you are and who you be, and kind of like, you know, piggyback on that Eckhart Tolle stuff, because I know you're a big fan, and in that book deep as well. Or actually, you gave it away, you gifted it. So hold on, let's bring you off of mute. There we go. We got you.
Awesome. Yeah. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I am an attorney practicing bankruptcy and creditors' rights law in the Washington, D.C. region. And I love being part of this conversation. It's just really special to me. I really liked what you said, Thomas, about what you're trying to make happen at this moment. And Tiffany and I had previously talked. I have a young child who's 6. We're homeschooling. And so in a microcosm every day, we're just trying to make the day happen. We're trying to make each hour happen, maybe get to lunch, dinner. But I've started to really feel a lot of energy as the days go on that we're staying in quarantine, and so many people that I know and love are furloughed, out of work. It's hard to make each day happen. It's hard to sit in each moment. And I keep reminding myself of the slogan, "Finish the fight." Anybody remember that? I'm in Washington, D.C. area. The Washington Nationals are the World Series champs. And one of the slogans as the baseball team was kind of turning that corner was, okay, we've got to finish the fight. And I was thinking of once I ran a marathon once, and around mile 22, it started to become very painful, like just literally painful. Every breath hurt, my muscles hurt. And my goal was, I got to get to 26.2. So sometimes it was just it was one foot in front of the other, one breath after the next, just finishing the fight, because we're gonna win this. I was really moved by what you said, Thomas, about how you have a first responder in the house, and we're gonna win this for you. We're gonna win this for your partner. We're taking all of our people with us, and that is my message. That's what we're doing, whether it comes in the form of making a plan for homeschooling my kid, or for me, what gets to happen each day just to accomplish what needs to be done, answering the emails and the calls. But we're going to finish this fight. And yes, it will be different, but we're going to do it with our bodies and our minds, and we're going to learn so much about this entire experience.
I love that, Jennifer. When you shared "Finish the Fight" in our conversation on Tuesday, it just reminded me of this quarantine. We get to finish the fight. If we break it too soon, it's kind of like we might have to go back to the beginning again. So when you said that, it reminded me of the quarantine, finish the fight. And even, Miles, you reminded me of, just a little meme that's going around. It's not a meme that's going around. It's not stay at home or stuck at home. You said safe at home. And I even want to add, you're being a contribution by being home right now. So we're finishing the fight. And I love that Jennifer reminded me, she's like, the Nationals. I was like, I wasn't in DC last fall. I was in San Diego, and I don't know baseball that well. But I was like, that's such a powerful message, finish the fight. And that's where we are right now. We are in that. And I love that, that example of the marathon, because it is, when you get towards the end of a marathon. And for me, I don't know about y'all, but just running for 5 minutes, I'm like, oof, where am I going with this? And I know this is good for my body, but oof. So I love that, Jennifer. I love it. And
I think it's natural.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it's natural. I'm hearing from everybody that we've all had moments of, how am I going to get through this hour? And I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. This is uncomfortable. I've got to sit in this. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of what Eckhart Tolle talks about in A New Earth, is I've got to sit in this moment. And finishing the fight is just part of sitting in this moment, letting the first responders, the scientists, the doctors, our leaders do what they need to do to help us come out of this, and so that we can stay out of this. I want to send my child to school in September. I want to see football in the fall. I want to do all these things. Yeah. And so this is what has to happen, what gets to happen in order to achieve the finish line.
Absolutely.
The only way through it is through it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you. So Lisa, I know you get to pop off. I know Lisa has another commitment. And Lisa, I just wanted to say, maybe Miles could be the chief joy officer of Cafe Social. If
Miles, I'd love to have you. It's an amazing first of all, it's
Smiles with Miles.
Oh, I love that. And it's invite only, just because we wanted this to grow organically and be with an amazing community of people that are really into connecting. I call them the kind of homebound social butterflies. So if you are a cabin fevered social butterfly, join us on Cafe Social. I will put in the link to the form to join the closed beta in the comment section of the Facebook Live.
Thank
for you there, Miles.
I'll be there.
Cafe Social. Smiles with Miles. I love it.
Stay home, stay social. There's your hashtag. Stay home, stay social.
Yeah. So I wanna bring in Keelin Clark over there, looking all dazzly and jazzily. Did I just make a word up? And Keelin, I just, where we went with our conversation was just so great. One of the things that Keelin is up to right now is and you've been committed. You have not wavered. Twice a day, 12 noon and 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Keelin reads to children live on Facebook. And like, she has not wavered, not on Sunday, not on Saturday, not wavered. So Keelin, tell everyone who you are, who you be, and tell us more about what you're up to.
Hi guys, thank you. And thank you, Tiffany, for creating this. And I'm so in line with what you guys are saying. Like Miles, I'm like, yes, we get to awaken our creativity. I originally came from the corporate world. I spent 20 years starving my artist instead of being a starving artist. And, I went through a lot of layoffs. I went through a lot of job changes, and it really did. I love that what you said there, Miles, because it really did help me for this moment in time. Like I'm very used to being uncomfortable in my career. I am a coach. I'm an empowerment coach, and I have a program called Confident on Camera, which I'm really leading people to get social, get on camera and be confident so that you can share your stories, you can share your products, you can share your services, you can share your creativity. This is such a beautiful time. And my fiance and I we actually are just reading now at noon Pacific every day. I'm as Lady Liberty of the 21st century and Mr. Liberty Darren, the two of us read these children's books. And what that was me partnering with a publisher who publishes children's books about ways of being, about the kind of transformational leadership we are all part of. And it's really fun. It brings me a lot of joy. So that gets me up in the morning, including really just doing my Confident on Camera coaching program with beautiful people who are so camera shy. They're like, I don't want to do it. There's a couple dog trainers, and their coach was like, you have to get on video. Like, this is the time I've been telling you, but now you can't go to your clients. And think about all the people at home right now with their dogs who don't usually walk them. They're out, running to their jobs or whatever. So, when this started to happen at the beginning of the year, I went to Mexico and I started my own healing journey, just really, really getting deep into the healing. And I was supposed to be with Tiffany when the pandemic hit, and we were supposed to be on this 3-week journey of leadership. And what really came to me, what downloaded to me was, this is a time to get intimate. It's time to get intimate in our homes, with the people we live with that we don't even really know, to get intimate with ourselves, to clean out all those dark little dusty corners that are in our hearts and in our homes. And through that, it's just been a really beautiful journey. And because I'm an explosion of creativity, I think outside of the box. So when I see someone struggling, like, I just want to be able to help pivot them, right? And say, what's your talent? What can we get you on video for? Like, we can sell this shit. Let's go, So so I'm just really fired up. I had a really hard year in 2018, and I really it was a literal transformation. And last year I was really me learning and absorbing all of the skills that now I feel like I get to share with the world. I just get to keep sharing and being of service. And that took a lot of surrendering from me, because I wanted to do things my way, because I'm an old punk rock rainbow.
We see. And I love that, and I think, that kind of speaks to almost everyone on this panel is, we are creators. Being in a pause right now has allowed our creator to come out even more. And, and just the little bit that everyone has shared with, Journey Jill with nature, Lisa with technology, Miles with just, theatrical creation or artistry creation, Thomas, you're leaning in and supporting entrepreneurs, Jennifer, you're a teacher right now. You're literally a teacher, a bona fide teacher. So love you, Lisa. See you soon. So I just really want to honor, the space of creation, because, in my experience, when I personally am creating, I am elevated, I am conscious, I'm aware, and I am in my power and moving through whatever is going on. And on the other side of that, which Maria Alejandro and I talked about this, is the consumer. Are you sitting back, leaning back, and consuming what's going on? And another way to say that is, are you waiting? Are you waiting for the dust to settle? Are you waiting for someone to tell you what's good, what's not good? Are you waiting around for what's next? Or are you creating what's next, what's available, what's possible right now? So anyone from the panel kind of want to pick up that piece and run with it?
Yeah,
I'd like to say something about, oh, sorry, Thomas. I just really want to say one thing about the consumer, because something that is really come to my attention is that we are consumers. We all get to spend our money in certain ways. And now is a really powerful time to be really thoughtful about how we're spending our money. And we can keep spending our money buying crap on Amazon, or we can look at where, or, you know, buying like wine clubs. I used to spend so much money on wine, right? And then I realized I could spend that money, that same amount of money could be towards absorbing and learning new skills so that I could feed my creative spirit. So I just really love to presence. This is the moment to really look at our lives and say, well, did I want to write a book? Did I want to be a painter? Did I want to be an actor? Like, you know, those creative little nuggets, now's the time to be able to lean into them and really just shift like where your spending is. There's so many opportunities right now to be able to lean in and get the education that is needed to be able to confidently go forward.
100%, Keelin. I just want to plus that, like plus, 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 star, 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 is lean in. There's never been a better time, and I'm glad there are others with that same voice out there, because for so long, you know, being in the consulting and coaching world and the training and leadership development, and I mean leadership in the broadest sense of the word, not just that you're a leader of just people, but leading yourself and your life, is that, oh my gosh, I mean, it's like, oh, I'm bored. How the hell are you bored? Are you serious right now? You need to call one of us on this panel, because brothers and sisters, we got you. And I'm not saying I'm going to give you something to do, but it like refocus into use this damn time. Use this precious time right now. Hey, and that's not to mean be busy, because as Miles and I spoke, maybe that is being on your sofa for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Maybe it's being with yourself. But most importantly, lean in. Learn something, do something, be something, and have something different than you getting right now, brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that sounded like
that.
I was at a pulpit. Holy crap! I don't know where the hell that just came from, man.
It's all good. It's all received. And like, you know, Thomas, you just reminded me of something, you know, about the boredom piece, and like, really, there's so much available out there. There's so many possibilities out there. And Journey Jill, you touched on it too. Is like, y'all, I've lived in DC for over 5 years, and I've never explored DC. Over the past 5 weeks, I have seen every inch and corner of DC on my 2 feet. And I am like, I was moved. I was like surprised. I was delighted. I just couldn't believe that this city in and of itself is not just a city. It is an oasis of like natural nature beauty. And I don't know if y'all noticed, can you just hear the birds out there so much louder than, maybe because there aren't as many cars out there. But Journey Jill, tell us more about the nature. I mean, you're just in this spot of like, you know, and yesterday being Earth Day, where we honor and celebrate this beautiful planet that we live on.
Yeah, let me just take you outside since I can, and show you a little bit of this nature out here. Aloha from Maui. But yeah, you know, it's just been a blessing. I moved here on March 9th, and right before all of this happened, and I've got this retreat center to myself, and it's been like this incredible opportunity to really get connected on a whole level. Like, when you have the opportunity to connect with nature and like you know, Mother Earth, I believe that this whole pandemic was like, Mother Earth was like, time out. What you guys have been doing is not working. I need a minute, okay? You need to go inside and you need to think and reflect on the way in which you've been acting, because it's not working. You're on a trajectory that's going to end, and it's going to end badly, right? And it's like having this opportunity, like really like lean into that, and like for us to like get connected to the impact. I like what we were talking about with consumption, because really that's like, you know, sustainability is in each one of our choices, right? It's in our personal consumption and how we're spending money, how we're creating waste, and like the impact that we're having is going to be the impact of the world. Like, I like that you were talking about the birds. The birds here are amazing, but I don't know if you've seen any of the stats, like Yellowstone, they've quadrupled in wildlife. There's like 4 times more bears. There's all of these like bald eagle nests. Like the animals are just loving it and coming back, and so much growth is happening. I mean, I think that this is just a powerful opportunity. I saw a quote about in China, like tons more people are alive because there isn't the pollution in the air. I mean, yeah. And so Earth Day yesterday, I was on my horse about it, and did another interview about, you know, about this opportunity that we've got, right? So yesterday was the 50-year anniversary of Earth Day, right? So 50 years ago, people were like, hold on, and they created a movement to like wake us up, and it didn't fully work, right? Like climate change is the theme for this year, and the invitation is to just educate yourself about climate change, right? If you don't really know what that means, like right now it's just okay, I'm gonna peek there and like understand like what that even means and what's happening in the world. Yeah, so
I love it.
thank you for igniting that conversation. Obviously, you can see that I'm like super passionate about that. But yeah,
it was a really like just a moment of gratitude and a moment of awareness for me that, you know, we live in such gorgeous places, yet have we really taken in the beauty and depth of where you live? So, and I love what Keelin even shared about, Keelin, what you said to clear out the dust in your home, in the corner of your home, in the corner of your heart. I'm like, please share that. That gets to go wider, because just a little funny note. I don't know if you guys have ever moved your bed. Have you guys ever moved your bed and seen the dust bunny? I live in a hardwood.
Tiffany, I just rearranged the entire house. I can't believe you just said that.
Shake it up,
I was like cursing. Guys, I can't believe you just said that, because honest to goodness, I completely remodeled like 2 rooms, like moved everything. And that bedroom was nasty under that bed. That is gross.
Under the bed.
That is
like
gross.
And like I have a person, I'm fortunate enough that I have a person to clean my home, and I was like, I don't think I've ever, because like, would you ask your cleaning or your, like, does anyone move their bed? Like move their bed like once?
I rearrange all of the time because that's how I do my deep cleaning.
Okay.
Pro tip.
I mean,
I
when you
vacuum
said
behind my bed, because you breathe that in when you're sleeping.
Yes.
I have a ton of allergies,
Yes.
so I always vacuum underneath. I have a hardwood floor too, and I'm like, where did that dust bunny grow?
Yes. I was like, oh, so when you said, this is a great time to like go find the dust in the corner of your home and your heart, I was like, oh, yes. So thank you for that. That's just so beautiful. Beautiful.
Tiffany, one of the thing that was mentioned, during Jill was talking about Earth Day and and all the animals out and all of this. And it got me thinking, because it was almost like the earth and the animals said, hey, you know what, you humans, you go to your room for a moment, go to your room. And then the animals were out there like just getting it on, babe. I mean, like, come on. I'm seeing lizards and mice, and I'm not even joking. Like, I'm sitting in my garden right now and I'm like, when have I ever seen a mouse out here? And I'm not talking about a gross way. I mean, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And the lizard, and I'm seeing like big ass lizards too, that you don't usually see. So, and from a bigger picture, from a serious point of view, it's like, I wonder, it's like, yeah, you guys put a pause on this. We got you. You need to go to your room for a moment, humans. and get to know yourselves
Mhm.
and get connected with you, and then come out and then connect with us in a little bit different, more holistic way. That may sound kind
I
of
love it.
woo-woo, or amount may sound kind of funny, but the logic sounds good to me.
Mm.
I wonder whether or not it's really just a lesson of take care. Like as Joe was saying, like let's take care of the earth, and as Keelin was saying, like let's take care of our finances. Like let's take care of the people that take care of us. Like we continue to pay the people in our homes and our lives that have supported us, even though they're not able to work for us. It's just take care of each other, take care of clients. I know that's what you're doing, Tiffany, by this entire series, which I think is incredible. And in many respects, maybe with the lives that we were leading prior to this, we forgot to appreciate and take care as much as we should.
I love that, Jennifer.
And take care of ourselves.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I
Yes.
think we got caught
Yes.
up in like the consumerism of like having to have the things, as opposed to remembering that like we'll be taken care of when we are being the thing. And I'm meaning like I know that I worked in the corporate world for 20 years because I didn't have enough self-confidence to think that I could be an artist. I listened to my parents and they're like, what are you gonna do without health insurance? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have a corporate career. But I kept getting kicked out in different ways. I would kick myself out or I would get kicked out. And I think that my story, now that I talk to more people, it is not that uncommon. You know, I would go into a company and they would stop the pension fund. I would go into a company and they wouldn't give turkeys away anymore. Like all these things that kept stopping right when I went. And I'm like, am I breaking stuff? You know, so like kind of falling into that entrepreneur spirit that I think all of us on this panel have is okay. We get to lean into it. And even my friends who are corporate driven, they all have a side hustle. And those side hustles are usually actually the thing that is driving you, the thing that is really going to feed your soul and then put food on your table. That's
beautiful. So as we come to a close, thank you, Keelin. As we come to a close today, I kind of want to just go around like a little round robin or a little popcorn share with what each of you would like to leave the audience with, and maybe how they can connect with you. I know you guys could pop anything into the comment section on the Facebook Live. So whoever would like to start, let's do this as we complete today.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Or go, Jill, would you like to go first?
No, you go for it.
The thing that I've been talking about with a lot of friends and people that I want to reiterate and that we've talked about as well is the privilege that we have, because there are a lot of people that don't have this privilege, that they don't get to dig into themselves and take care of their spirits and souls. They have to like take care of their families and take care of like teach their kids. I have friends with multiple children that are like literally calling me crying every day because it's just like, I'm not a teacher. And it's like we're just gonna have so much more love and respect for our teachers, our doctors, our grocers, our everybody's, and just to take that in. And the second half of that is to honor your emotions. You are allowed to feel however you feel right now, as long as you're not hurting somebody else. Feel them, don't try to shove it away. Like, you're allowed, because this is unprecedented. That calls for unprecedented workshopping of your personal solving of what you need to solve. So those are kind of the two things. It's like, don't forget your privilege, because there is a lot of people that don't get to do this. And don't forget to take care of your emotions, because you're allowed.
Beautiful. Love it, Miles. Who's next? Journey Joe?
Yeah, I would like to leave everybody with the mindful mix. It's like the core element of the Connection Lounge, and it's movement, meditation, and mastermind. And so movement allows you to drop out of your head and into your heart. So whatever that looks like, I encourage you, if you're bringing people together, to take them through the mindful mix and like have a dance party, or lead everybody in some stretching and getting everybody up, and so that they're moving their body. Because like moving into your physiology, it's like, it's incredible how it'll shift your perspective. And then meditation can look like anything as simple as like taking a collective breath together, right? And like having that opportunity to come back to the present. And also could look like an incredible visualization exercise, which Tiffany, I don't know if you actually did the stretch that I gave you on our interview, But if not, hopefully you've got that as an opportunity for people. But,
Thank
you know, meditating, you're welcome. And then lastly, mastermind. And that's where you're coming together with other people, right? And then I know that's what we're doing here together, but like, as you're meeting with your friends and connecting with other people, like support them and also ask for support and be vocalizing what's coming up for you, because, you know, mastermind is like when multiple minds are coming together and it's not just your own mind. So,
I love that. So
thank you.
Movement, meditation, and mastermind. I love it. Awesome. Who's next?
I'll go.
Keelin.
Thank you again for having this space open up for all of us. And Miles, thank you for grounding us in the privilege. I, for one, am always so thankful for that. So thank you. And thank you to all of our people on the front line. I have many friends who are bankers and nurses and grocers, and thank you. And, you know, I love video. I grew up loving video and watching it because it helped heal me. I grew up in an alcoholic household, and it was my escape, and has been my healing element. And the video has the ability to heal on such a huge level, to use the frequency in the airwaves to heal. So if you have a story, and if you have something that you really are driven to say it. And you have so many platforms right now. And I guarantee you, just like Miles said in the beginning, someone needs to hear it. So to be of service, just hit record, hit live, whatever it takes. And I promise you, like, it feels amazing, and you're going to help so many people. So.
Oh, wow. So beautiful. Thank you, Keelin.
You're welcome.
Okay. Who's next?
Yeah, I'll go. This is Thomas. You know, I always go back to, and this is really a plus of what Miles said, that first part. What I'm hearing is breathe and be mindful. It's the place that I always go to. I mean, if life feels out of control or I'm lost or anything like that, I'm just passing forward what got me through the other dark periods in my life. You know, I'm just only going from my experience, and I'm not claiming I'm an expert on that. I just know my experience, and based on some results, some things work. And so the first thing is just breathe. And if you're breathing, then you can envision an alternate possibility. And if you're not breathing, do the math on that one. Okay. So you got another moment. So breathe, be heartful, as I like to say. It's not even being mindful. It's more of being heartful. Just breathe and know that you're here. You're enough when you realize that you are enough. And you'll have enough when you realize that you are enough. The second part of that is envision a different possibility, because what's going on right now, and I'm talking to myself as I'm speaking to you, is that if I don't like something, then envision an alternate possibility. What's possible? It's not saying, I mean, I don't have to live in reality, and I'm not inviting you. You don't have to live in reality. Your reality is your friggin' reality. Envision a possibility, because if we can envision a possibility, maybe there is a sliver of hope that we can bring that into reality. Which brings me to that last point. Reinvent. Reinvention does not happen by sitting around going, gosh, I hope reinvention happens to me. I hope this is not going to make me popular with some people. I can tell you that, because I'm very forceful about that. It's like, be a participant in the reinvention. Do something, say something, work with Keelin and get confident on camera. Work with Miles, work with Jennifer, work with Journey Jill, work with Tiffany. I think that's the core of the message that I could ever put out to anyone, is make a choice to be your own solution. Don't wait for reinvention to happen. Participate in the in the reinvention. Do something, sell something, recreate, be creative, be resourceful. And even if that is just voicing your passion for or against something. Yeah, I did just say against something. If you feel strongly, stand up and have people attract in and use that voice. Here's the reason I'm leaving you with that. Because if you're standing up, standing for or against something, you're being a contribution. You're not going to be popular with everybody, but you're going to attract those that you're meant to serve and contribute to, and repel those that you aren't. And thank God, that's better than sitting on the sofa doing nothing.
Woo, that is the creator. Wow, powerful, Thomas. Thank you. And last but not least, Jennifer. Oh, we lost your audio.
Got it now?
There we go. Yep.
What I would leave with is, I think it's kind of special to acknowledge where we are. If someone said to me on New Year's Day, 2020, that I would be spending 6 weeks in my house with my husband and my child, becoming a kindergarten teacher while holding down a full-time job, making meals, cleaning, there's always a job to be done. So I think it's okay to acknowledge that and know that we've really done something pretty unique and marvelous, and we're going to finish the fight. We'll get through it. So that's where I would leave.
Oh, I love that. And I feel somebody in my life is writing the quarantine diaries right now, and I can't remember who at this very moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is such a good idea. Can I contribute a chapter? It's such a
really
good idea.
Surreal.
Because
honestly, this is surreal. It's surreal.
And you've been saying it how I've been saying it. Like, we're in a unique time. I very rarely call it a pandemic or quarantine, like very rarely, but you know, contextually to move along a show, I'll drop in, you know, certain words, but I've just really been saying this is a very unique or interesting time that we're in. And I just want to say in closing that I'm so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you joining us live today. And this, I want to just also acknowledge everyone who watched live and who will watch later, that when you think it's challenging to get people together, look at what happens when you set an intention and when you are using your voice and in your creation mode. You can get people wherever you want them to be, and you can collaborate with so many more people. And I love what Journey Jill shared, the mastermind piece, to support others and to request support. And, you know, this is such a very special time in our lives that we will never, ever forget. You know, some people might have forgotten like 9/11 or forgotten when, you know, man stepped on the moon, but we will never, ever forget this. So thank you to each and every one of my panelists today, Lisa, Keelin, Miles, Jennifer, Journey, Jill, Thomas. I love each and every one of you, and I will see everyone soon. See you back on Tuesday.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Tiffany. So good to connect with all of you.